guys, Miss Julie here. How you doing today? Thumbs up? Thumbs down? For me today, thumbs up because I get to be with you. So today we're going to continue our series, How Did That Happen? Where we're talking about the Christmas story, or the story of Jesus' birth, and we're trying to get to some of the answers for what happened so we can understand how that happened or why that had to happen that way. And today we're going to talk about the day that Jesus was born. And we're going to go to the book of Luke, and we're going to start in chapter 2 at verse 6. Now I'm using the NIV today, and there's a reason why. I'll explain in a minute. It says this: while they were there, the time came for the baby to be born, and she gave birth to her firstborn, a son. She wrapped him in cloths and placed him in a manger because there was no room for them in the inn. So let's get into this a little bit more. Clue number 1. We have this idea that Mary and Joseph were rushing to Bethlehem, and they got there and there were so many people there, they couldn't find a place to go, and so they just had to take the first thing they could find, which just happened to be a barn. But what this is telling us is while they were there. So they had actually been there for a while. There wasn't this urgency to find a place to stay. Clue number 2. The book of Luke is written in Greek. Now we speak English, and so obviously the Greek was translated to English. The Greek word is actually called katalumia. Now, if you actually translate that a little bit more correctly, it would imply an upper room or a guest room. And it's used in a couple other places in the Bible. For instance, when Jesus and the disciples got together for the Passover celebration, Jesus had them prepare an upper room, a guest room. A more accurate word for in the Greek would be the word pentaheion. That word is used in the story of the Good Samaritan, when the Good Samaritan takes the man who's injured to an inn in order to recover. Now, clue number 3. If, in fact, the translation of this word should have been in, Bethlehem is a really tiny town at this time. Very tiny. In fact, so tiny it didn't make it on a map. The historical information out there would imply that it was too small to even have an inn. And inns usually would be along trade routes, and there was no trade route at this time into Bethlehem. Clue number 4. Now, Joseph went to Bethlehem, if you remember, because he had family there, because he was the line of David. And so the way that culture works, and it still is this way today, that family looks out for family. So when Joseph and Mary arrived there, they would have found family, and the family would have taken them in, because that's just the way they do things. And so they would have had a place to stay within the house. Now, clue number 5, where it says she placed him in a manger because there was no room for them in the upper room. This part is really interesting because a manger would have been in the house, and you're wondering,
what in the world are you talking about?
Now, archaeological data that's out there, information from people who have researched this a lot, have found that in peasant homes, by the front door, there would have been a room with dirt on the floor. And in this room, there would have been a manger for feeding the animals. And at night, they would bring the animals inside so that nobody would take them. In addition, the animals would give off some body heat, and that would help to warm up the house. So, when it says there was no room for them in the inn, it really means there was no room for them in the guest space, because there was probably a lot of other people there. And so Mary and Joseph went to the place where they could have a little bit more space, and that would be where the animals were taken care of. Now, before you're thinking,
this must have been a really dirty place,
don't worry about that, because every day when they took the animals out, they would clean that place, and they took really good care of their animals, and so the animals would be cleaned as well. Now, you'll notice I have some candles here, and I want to show you something. I have a jar here with some baking soda in it, and I have here a container with some vinegar in it. Now, if I pour the vinegar into the baking soda, you know what's going to happen. It fizzes up. But what's also happening, because I did a little more research, is carbon dioxide is being formed. The two, the baking soda and the vinegar, are combining. There's a chemical reaction taking place, and carbon dioxide is being formed. Now, carbon dioxide is heavy, and so I can take the carbon dioxide and I can pour it out of my pitcher. So I'm gonna let the carbon dioxide fill up the glass. And I know you're probably thinking,
what? There's nothing coming out of there?
But the carbon dioxide is. So I can take this container and turn it over the candles, and it'll blow the candle out. Now I show you this because I want to encourage you to continue to dig deep. When you hear a story about something that took place in the Bible, go to the Bible and see what it has to say about it so you can have your facts straight. Stay safe, everyone. See you soon. Bye-bye.